So, Kevin, in the previous segment, I was really trying to describe the impact that increase in capital gains tax has on grandparents, parents who want to leave children uh, money, more money versus being taxed, whether it's, a secondary home or what have you. So we're really talking about wealth transfer. Talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on this.
Yeah, it just makes it harder. Again, probably the most likely time when people will have capital gains in excess of 250,000, frankly, is upon a point where they sell a second home, which may have been around in the family for a long time, or perhaps even upon death or something like that. Certainly on the age that is going to hurt. And the issue that I have is Canada doesn't have access to global capital flows the way the US does. We're blessed to be next to the US. We're cursed to be next to the US because we keep thinking, hey, we need to attract capital. We haven't. Last year, foreigners pulled $43 billion out of our equity markets based on expectations of a housing crash and concern about the economy. I think probably you can see a bit of a kickback on that this year. We'll see. But if you're not able to rely upon foreign capital coming in the way the US is and some other major economies are, you really better make sure that your domestic capital formation is really strong. And what we've done here is we've made domestic capital more expensive, more scarce, and that leads to, the press is filled with Canada needs to innovate. Canada needs to drive productivity. Probably the only two things are productivity and alleviation of the housing crisis. Both the capital gains move hurts both of those, and that's really frustrating to see. Okay, we've reduced. If you sell a small business that's below $2 million, you can have a preferred tax rate. Well, nobody knows how big their business is going to get. If we need those dreamers who are dreaming big in order to create national champions or in order to create innovative jobs, nobody is going to say, well, I'm going to be innovative because I've got a government program. So they kind of threw some rhetorical bones there. Government won't spur capital formation the way that the invisible hand or the free market or people who just operating in their own, I'm going back to Adam Smith here, but operating in their own enlightened self-interest will behave. So it's just a little bit disappointing. And sorry, I'll do one last thing.
Yes.
It really hurts on the immigration side. Canada has a phenomenal chance to attract enlightened immigrants that bring capital, that bring expertise, and they bring connections with some of the world's fastest growing economies. When you say we're not as receptive, we're not as willing to tolerate gains, somebody who might be leaving Dubai, I'll pick any number of Dubai's obviously stable, but pick anywhere around the world that has less political stability than Canada. These people have to make a decision. Do I want to go to Australia? Do I want to go to the US, the UK? Here, the messaging and the branding is really, really negative. And so I think we've shot ourselves in the foot from the potential to attract some very innovative and capable people.
That's a great point. If you're going to pick up and leave your country to go somewhere else for more opportunity, with the way we're set up right now, from a policy perspective, you're not coming here. It's just why would you? There's other better places to go, and we both. You're in the capital markets. I used to be on Wall Street. Money goes where money is treated best. It's very simple. That always happens. And to your point about the foreign direct investment leaving Canada to the tune of $43 billion last year, that should be astounding. We've seen foreign direct investment leave for the past 10 years, 9 years since Trudeau's been in power, predominantly out of the oil fields, or a lot out of the oil fields, because it was so difficult to get any kind of projects done. It just was not worth it, and it was too expensive to do with all the regulatory tape and the time it took. They left. And to your point, countries need capital. You either need your own capital formation, or in the case of Canada, we really do need international inflows, and we're not getting it. People need to be aware of this.
Yeah, totally. And the way you make an economy really great, there's three things. I think we've chatted about this before. There's three things that go into all manner of services or goods. You have to put capital to work, you have to put labor to work, and you're going to use power. We as a country have decided to make power more expensive. We as a country have decided in a number of ways to make capital more expensive, with marginal income tax rates, as well as capital gains inclusion rates, as well as a variety of other items. And so you can't, the only way to adjust when those two inputs are more expensive is to make labor cheaper, right? And that's the exact opposite of what we as a society or what they as a government should want.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.